Hello, I'm Brian Clough. I'm going to be speaking on the Assemblies of God history, mission, and governance. History. In the book, People of the Spirit, Gary McGee states that the first Pentecostal revival in the 20th took place in the 20th century occurred in January of 1901 at Bethel Bible School in Topeka, Kansas. This revival was led by Charles F. Parham. This movement began to spread throughout the country. In 1906, one of Parham's students, William J. Seymour, was invited to Los Angeles, California to pastor a holiness church. And as he began to teach out of Acts chapter 2, verse 4, about the availability of the baptism of the Holy Spirit with the initial physical evidence of speaking with other tongues, the congregation didn't like that teaching and they kicked him out of the church. He was invited to stay at the home of Edward S. Lee. And while at Lee's home, Seymour began to hold Bible studies and began to spend time in prayer and fasting. The Bible studies in Lee's home eventually outgrew, and they moved the Bible study to a home on 214 Bonnie Ray Street. Within a few weeks, the outpouring of the Holy Spirit took place upon those attending the Bible study, and several people started receiving the baptism of the Holy Spirit with the initial physical evidence of speaking in tongues. The revival quickly began to grow, and the services were relocated to an abandoned building at 312 Azusa Street. And just like in Acts chapter 2, this was noised abroad, when people began to hear about this revival, the crowds began to grow and begin to congregate at this church. The Azusa Street revival brought the church together from different racial and socioeconomic people groups. I like the quote from Frank Bartleman that says, "The color line was washed away in the blood." This revival at Azusa Street lasted nonstop for about 3 years. Many were baptized in the Holy Spirit, and they went back to their homes and started planting churches, or they went to the mission field and started evangelizing in the foreign mission fields. It was a catalyst for a worldwide evangelical Pentecostal revival. The first General Council of the Assemblies of God took place in April of 2014 at the Grand Opera House in Hot Springs, Arkansas. The purpose of this assembly was for like-minded churches and ministers to form a cooperative fellowship of Pentecostal churches. In section 2 of this pathway course, the speaker states that this fellowship would, quote, provide accountability on doctrine, morals, finances, and for churches to work together to share the gospel, send missionaries, and establish schools, end quote. Ian Bell was elected as the first general chairman. The second general council was held 7 months later at the Stone Church in Chicago in November of 1914. It was during this meeting that a resolution was drafted that read, "As a council, we hereby express our gratitude to God for his great blessings upon the movement in the past. We are grateful to him for the results attending this forward movement, and we commit ourselves and the movement to him for the greatest evangelism that the world has ever seen. We pledge our hearty cooperation, prayers, and help to this end." Missions has been one of the primary pieces of the Assemblies of God DNA ever since. Missions. The Assemblies of God has one of the largest missions organizations in the world. The Assemblies of God World Missions has a commitment to reaching people groups around the world. The missional strategy to accomplish this is by reaching, planting, training, and serving. Another area of missions in the Assemblies of God is U.S. missions. The purpose of U.S. missions is to seek, save, and send. This is accomplished through their 7 core ministries: Adult and Teen Challenge, Chaplaincy Ministries, Chi Alpha, Church Mobilization, gospel outreach, intercultural ministries, and youth alive. Governance. The governance of the Assemblies of God. The most common church government models within churches are episcopal, which is an elaborate hierarchical structure, congregational, where the primary decision making is within the members of the church, and Presbyterian, which delegates responsibility and authority to representatives. The Assemblies of God church governance model is a hybrid of congregational and Presbyterian. The membership is recognized as the final decision-making authority, but it delegates duties and responsibilities to others, for example, a pastor and a deacon board. This governance model facilitates accountability, decisiveness, and responsiveness to visionary leadership. In conclusion, the Assemblies of God grew out of the Pentecostal revival that began at the beginning of the 20th century. It had a humble beginning as a cooperative fellowship of 300 individuals that sought to work together to evangelize the world. Today, the Assemblies of God is one of the largest Pentecostal organizations with robust world and U.S. missions programs. Today's statistics, according to the Assembly of God website, reports over 12,000 U.S. churches, over 38,000 credentialed ministers, over 5,000 missionaries, more than 3 million adherents in the United States, over 450,000 churches worldwide, with a worldwide adherence average at over 86 million people. From its humble beginnings to today, God has truly blessed the Assemblies of God. Thank you for watching.